Welcome back to the Pick and Go Rugby podcast. We're all set to break down another huge week of international rugby and a bit of Bunnings NPC at the end of today's program as well. Lots going on, boy. It's a great time to be a rugby fan at the moment.
Is it?
Hi, Paul.
Really?
That's Paul Moati, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Paul?
Great, if you're a Pumas fan.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
No, and, Paul, look, we've got to be honest, last week on the show, probably didn't have the best week ourselves.
No, we were terrible.
We were terrible, but unlike the All Blacks, we've changed things up a bit this week. So as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, on the other side of the desk there, Richard Laddie joining us after a sojourn to Garden City. How was your time down south, Richard?
Yeah, it was lovely, thank you. Actually, I had a wee listen to, I only managed to listen to the first half of the podcast last week while running around the beautiful streets of Ireland.
Ireland?
Of Ireland.
Oh, Ireland.
A suburb in Christchurch.
Right, okay.
Where the university is, yeah. So
Yes.
running around the university there. And I was listening to the podcast and I thought, I think you give Argentina a little bit more respect and you give Australia a little bit more respect and bang, see what happens.
Wow, he sees that now.
At least with a bit of hindsight, this fella. No, but I take it you weren't as surprised as maybe the two of us by the events of Saturday night at AMI Stadium, Richard?
Orange
Theory Stadium.
Orange Theory, yeah. I was going to say, the greatest stadium name in the country.
Yeah.
I did think the All Blacks would get up, but I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that. 22 and a half, whatever the point start was there. But it was quite a shock to see it. The All Blacks they had nothing, they were sort of trying a few things here and there, but Argentina just had responses to it all, and wow, kudos to them. But
Right, okay.
they were trying a few things here and there,
Yeah.
It just wasn't going their way.
All
The bounce of the ball wasn't going their way, Paul.
right. No, I trust you.
What went wrong for you, Paul? What are you? What were your first thoughts upon viewing the action down there?
Poor discipline, first of all. And I think that was, personified by Frizzell's yellow card late in the match. I guess the Pumas dominating the ruck area.
Dominating might be putting it lightly, what they did around the breakdown.
It was, I certainly didn't expect that.
No.
A lack of accuracy, and that was highlighted by, I think, Cody Taylor's, 79th minute line-out throw, but that wasn't an isolated event. There were many, many occasions last Saturday night where there was a lack of accuracy by a number of the All Blacks team. So, but if you're a Pumas supporter, well, hey,
Yeah, great time to be an Argentinian fan. For me, I think the thing that really sort of dawned on me on Sunday afternoon, we were at the New Zealand Darts Masters Saturday night watching the game finish with a pretty big crowd. And although, we were probably, a few of us were surprised that the All Blacks lost. Like, the All Blacks just lost on New Zealand soil to Argentina, and no one was, shocked. No one was freaking out. It was just could see that. It just goes to show, the change in the attitude towards the All Blacks that's happened over the last year or so. We're now at the stage where, albeit a surprise, and obviously the Pumas were at big odds, so if you took the $7, well done to you. But, yeah, certainly I don't...
Well, look at the results over the last, couple of years.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I don't think we're one of the best teams in the world anymore, it's safe to say, isn't
You
it?
got to read on that Wikipedia page, that's for sure. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. For me, the biggest disappointment as an All Blacks fan was that edge and that sort of intensity that the forward pack came out with in Ellis Park was completely gone. It was back to sort of square one. It was almost like they thought they'd won the right to do whatever they wanted the week before, so they could go back to playing the sort of sideways game plan and just sort of not hitting those rucks with any intensity, not what was it, 96% or 95% tackle completion rate the Argentinians have. No one was really challenging that dominant Argentinian pack. There wasn't.
And they had 60% possession, 60% territory, so it wasn't a matter of not having any ball and not having any ground to sort of play
at. Pace was dominant in the first half.
Yeah.
The scrum was going really well. The line out was fine.
Yeah, the scrum was probably one of the few.
Yeah.
Even in the second half, there was a few penalties going their way. So there's been some.
And yet they didn't have a large halftime lead because of their discipline and the boot of one Buffali.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, right? If you're giving away penalties like that, it's just an excuse to keep the opposition in it when they can just take over 3 points at a time. And the All Blacks did score 2 tries in the first half, both well taken, but somewhat. Well, one was off a rolling maul and one was off a turnover. It's not like they were creating a lot from open field players, evidenced by the 90-odd% of tackles the Argentinians were making. But
look, there were positives. Tokiaho,
Yeah.
once again,
positive.
He was very, very. Oh, I think Artie was busy again.
Yeah,
he was kind of they'd obviously done their homework on him, because I feel like that was the one game probably this year where I've come out of it and been like, oh, you haven't noticed him really standing out as much as he has been.
Well, he had a battle against the three Argentinian forwards. I mean, Pablo Matera, obviously, his work's well known. Paul's mate, Joaquin Gonzalez, who's not even made the starting 15 this week. And Marcos Crema was absolutely massive as well. Thomas Lavanini as well in the second row managed to stay on the pitch for 80 minutes and had a huge role. So
he's a big boy.
It was a reminiscent performance by their pack to what the All Blacks did 2 weeks ago in Johannesburg, right?
Yes. It was, mirror image.
And like we were sitting here last week, Paul, saying, it's very easy when your coach's job was on the line.
Emotionally,
to get up for one game. It's doing it again the next week at home when you're 20-point favourites.
Looking back, we probably should have seen it.
Yeah, look, all I'm saying
there wasn't many that's my coach Instagram posts over the weekend, was there?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, you've got to do it for more than 60 minutes to keep this up because, full credit to the Pumas, but you've got the players on the park to be breaking more than 5 or 6 tackles in a game.
Yeah. They only scored one try. That was from that. That's probably a positive for the All Blacks. Is they only didn't score one try, and it was from that kick off there. So
that was in the blink of an eye.
Oh, I was saying years before. I was at the bar ordering a drink, and I looked up. I was like, what's just happening there? Because
but I think we're starting to connect a few dots around those sort of things. So it's the second test in a row they've conceded a try off a kickoff exit. Like, sure, you're not going to regather every kickoff, but
surely you're not going to be conceding a try off everyone.
There's a trend developing there.
Yeah.
The confusion and inaccuracy at that last line out, where there was obviously something going on with Sam Whitelock, how he was thumping his chest. Like, you'd think that's when you've got a go-to money ball. Like, every line out in club rugby has a money ball they go to in that situation. They're not going to contest. It's 5 meters out. You're going for the rolling maul. Like,
it's like when you go to a karaoke bar, you've got your go-to song.
Yeah, obviously.
The one that you can rely on every time.
What's yours, Paul?
Angel Shaggy.
Paul's work as Shaggy, well known to the fans of the TB Podcast Network's wider audience. But just sort of get it. There was several penalties given away for where the clean out just wasn't there. Julian Montoya looked like David Pocock in his prime at different stages on Saturday night. Like, it's those little things player. Like, you can't really single out one player, but it's just, I don't know, it felt like the attitude of the forwards as a whole wasn't quite there. Like, Shannon Frizzell, just stupid mistakes. What did he think was going to happen there, going like 3 men deep on the rolling maul? Like, I don't know. Yeah. And the penalty count as a whole, it's, is it they're not in the right mindset running out into the park? Is it they're not mentally prepared? I mean, it's hard to put your finger on it, but
they may have been emotionally drained from the huge effort that they had to put in 2 weeks back.
Yeah, well, if you want to win a World Cup, you've got to win 3 weeks in a row. So,
and I'm glad you mentioned the World Cup because, boy, is that wide open.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great World Cup.
There's half a dozen teams, maybe more, who are like a realistic chance of going all the way. You got France.
The way the draws lined up as well,
Ireland, England, Australia, South Africa.
They're Argentina in there.
Argentina.
So we've seen Argentina before New Zealand. I mean, Wales, they won a test and said, I
think if we lose this week, we're falling behind Argentina on the world rankings, aren't we? So did I read that somewhere, or did I?
Well, we've done a few firsts over the last year or two, so
getting used to it.
Let's add another one.
Playing Japan in a few weeks.
What would be favourite?
I'd take even money for the All Blacks there if I could get it. But is there anything else we want to touch on from that performance? I mean, full credit to the Pumas. I don't want to get too bogged down in the.
No, it was a great performance for them. I thought Carreras was brilliant, just controlling the game. Just smart kicking, and it paid off. They just got that territory and took the penalties when it counted, and yeah.
Do you want to have a few words on your man David Kidwell at the stage in the podcast?
The key is in the way, The key is in the way. I was out in Christchurch and I was got a wee photo with the mural. It's out by the Ducks, and yeah, it's a good little redemption story for him, but it was, the Argentinian defense was huge, and he is the defensive coach, so he obviously had something to do with it.
Do we have one?
A defensive coach,
Yeah.
Scott McLeod.
Right.
Well, they only conceded one try, Paul.
Yeah,
No,
and it was off a line out like that. So, no, yeah, I think there's still things to be happy about not happy, but some positives. I think Summersunny. I thought De Groot was good as well. And even Bauer coming on. There was plenty. We got about 4 or 5 scrum penalties. So
it does seem like that new front row is certainly something we can maybe.
Yeah, De Groot,
Takiaho, and Tyrell Lomax.
Yeah.
Tyrell did give away a fairly silly penalty smacking. Was it Matera early off a short line out that led to a kickable 3? But
I'd like to see what the odds of those 3 being the starting front row at the start of the season were. But I'm liking it a lot. It's great.
Yeah, well, I mean, back to Takiaho, so we keep going back to him, but I mean, he was the shining light for the All Blacks. If 6 weeks ago before the first Island test, you would have said, we're going to be in the middle of the Rugby Championship saying people are going to be losing their minds over this guy getting subbed off for Cody Taylor with 30 minutes to go.
Gassed? He didn't look gassed.
He didn't look gassed.
He didn't look gassed.
And you look on the other side of the pitch, I know, not every team's the same, and we're going to get to the Springbok shortly when we talk about front row rotations, but Julian Montoya was close to man of the match, a huge captain's knock for the Pumas, 78.5 minutes. His backup got the Stephen Perifeta treatment for Argentina, but sometimes you just got to really, I know there's, the Crusaders front row and you want to keep guys fresh, but let the man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you there. It'll be interesting
like,
to see what happens with that backup hooker because, obviously Coles has got the selection this week and whether there's a couple of guys playing some good footy in the NPC who might be, expecting to call up in the next few weeks. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
might be back in
Hooker's got it down again.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Oh, we will. Don't worry. There's a Bunnings NPC segment to come, but I think it's time to cast our eye ahead and be positive rather than sitting in the past. Got another test coming up, 7:05 this Saturday evening at FMG Stadium in Hamilton. The All Blacks still heavy favourites, not obviously quite as heavy as last week. It's $1.20 in the match result market. You can get $4.50 for the Pumas if you're backing another upset there. 14.5 is the point start at time of recording. But, I mean, we're bearing the lead because, I almost fell off my chair. I thought there was the social media team had uploaded their own graphic. Same starting 15 as last week. I'm still fairly speechless about it.
I can vouch for the fact that Patrick did nearly fall off his chair as well.
What do you guys think about the decision to stick strong to that 15 that did get the job done at Alice Park, to be fair to them? Oh, this is an audio medium.
Wow. Yeah, I was shocked. Also, I couldn't believe it. I thought there's plenty of young talent in there. There's some guys who, haven't got a run or, Peter Fitto got 50 seconds of the day. Tuivasa-Sheck got about 3 or 4 minutes again in the third test of the Ireland series. So Tutu hasn't even played yet. Just
do we see Peter Fitto again?
I mean, yeah, you'd really feel for the bloke if that does end up being his only performance because there is the David McKenzie question floating around. Yeah, I mean, I think he deserves some sort of. But this whole thing, we've touched on however many names already, right? Tuivasa-Sheck, Perifeta. Look at how Peter Gasso-Gogla was treated. There's clearly no wider plan about how to integrate these guys into the team and get them.
Seem to be.
Which is and I said this last week, so it's not, not in hindsight. The last coaching staff, Graham, Henry, Steve Hansen, they were so good at bringing guys in slowly, 1 or 2 at a time, so you didn't disrupt the whole balance of the team. But it's like we've got Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. No one in the team can break a tackle at the moment, and you've got these great attacking talents sitting there on the bench. Yeah, I mean, I'm gutted he's going to be running out against the Turbos on Friday night.
For more ways than one. For your mighty Turbos and for the fact that he's not getting the run on
that speaks to a lack of ideas, and I was sort of hoping my love for Joe Schmidt has been well documented on this podcast. I was hoping he might provide a fresh set of eyes to that back line and have. I mean, he's only been in the job 1 week. I'm sure he's going to have some ideas, especially around set plays and everything like that. But you would have thought just, I mean, if nothing else, just for the look of it, you would have made at least one change. Swap your hookers around, not your hookers, but swap someone around just to say we're not, settling for losing to Argentina at home.
There's probably only 2 players who probably deserve to guarantee start, and that being Takiaho and Savir at the moment, with the way, there's other players that have sort of stepped up here and there, but there's so many people who are struggling to put two performances back to back together. And yeah, I was pretty lost for words, to be honest.
You said the All Blacks are $1.20.
Yes.
They're $1.25 when the odds first came out. And that attracted a lot of attention from punters. They did jump on at $1.25, which has forced the bookies into $1.20 and Argentina out to $4.50. Now, since the All Black team has been named, we've taken 7 times as many bets on Argentina than we have on the All Blacks.
Oh, that's a lovely little stat there.
7 times.
7 times as many bets on Argentina since the All Black team was named, which was about
just
about 2 hours ago.
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. So 7 times more bets on Argentina since the All Black team was named. So you read into that what you like.
Just in the heat market.
Just in that match result.
Yeah.
Market, yeah.
No, match results. Sorry, yeah.
Right. Well, we know we're getting the same 15 at least. A few changes on the bench. Obviously, Dane, Brody, Dalton Pupley, and Bowden Barrett all coming onto the bench there. But it's going to be the same team for at least the first half, you'd hope, barring injuries. Who needs a big game? Who needs to step up from what they did in Christchurch and put a marker down for the All Blacks and help lift them to an Ellis Park style performance? Do you think? Do you have your eyes on anyone in particular, Paul?
Richie Mo'unga.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was last week was one of his not good games, and I think they need him to, I guess, control proceedings a wee bit more, put that pack in good attacking positions, and then do a bit of his magic. See him sort of slice through that Argentina defense like he's been slicing through Super Rugby defenses this season.
Yes, and he was very good. He was very good in the Ellis Park test as well, I thought. So for me, I have Mo'unga start as well. I also need to see, want to see some more from Frizzell. I think
ideally, the more I'd be seeing from him was him in the third row at FMG Stadium when someone else is starting on the blind side.
Because he's there, I was surprised to see him there. Once again, he was pretty good in the Ellis Park test, but I think we've had this problem with this number 6 jersey since Kana left, basically, apart from when Blackadder was around, that, we're struggling with these, 2 good games in a row. We've had that with the Kirioani a couple of times. We had one good game, but then the next game will kind of fizzle off. So,
tilt my shoulder off and get it to Ethan if he could get out there on Sunday.
That would save a few issues.
If you got a plastic one, to be fair.
And the midfield as well. I think I think that more than anything, I was surprised to see those 2 back in the midfield. I thought they were absolutely they weren't great on Saturday night, outplayed and there's a couple of guys there who could pretty easily sort of slot into the position somehow. So I'm surprised to see that midfield for the 3rd game in a row. Yeah,
there's a lot of sort of I'm not sure from all 3 of us here. So if you're playing the pick and go drinking game this week, good luck to you. But for me, I had circled the sort of that second row back row. I thought Sam Whitelock he was a little bit off the pace. He got called out twice by Montoya for pull for turnovers there. Shannon Frizzell's a big one. I mean, it's the Shannon Frizzell Memorial roller coaster, and we need to be on the up this week. And hopefully, after a poor game, and I'm sure they'll have heard it in the film review, he can bounce back. And I mean, I'm probably been about as big a Sam Cane supporter as there is in the country the last few weeks, but he's another one. Just I think needs to. It wasn't as bad. There was a couple of them sort of the tackled without the ball penalties where it looks like guys are really playing in their own heads and they're not reading the game, like not playing their natural game. So I just think that sort of the non-front rowers and Artie in the forward pack, the other 4 need to really step up. I was surprised almost to see. I know he hasn't had a lot of rugby, but I just think you want to have Brody Retallick on the park when he's available. So and. Yeah, I feel
you imagine, Australia Test he's starting, no doubt, and maybe
No, you don't imagine that. No, you don't.
We're going 4 times in a row. Same team.
I would be surprised if the team changes for the next test.
Well, like the thing I don't.
15 anyway.
They'll put on a good result. Good win.
We all think Brody's one of our 2 best locks, right? Like when fully healthy. What happens if Scott Barrett rolls his ankle in the 3rd minute? He's going to have to play 77 minutes anyway. So you can't really chuck the guy on the bench if he's not prepared to go. Like it's almost the other way around. You can always bring him off after 55, 60 minutes if he's not.
I missed the Shield Challenge on the weekend. I was actually at the Wiggles. But how many? It was a great show, by the way, guys. If anyone was wondering, how many minutes did Brody play?
I think he played about 50. We were both at Te Rapa.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Taking Fox's Flight Day. I had it up on the phone for a little bit, but wasn't able to
Yeah.
So it's caught the rolling ball at the end there. Hawke's Bay done Hawke's Bay things when they need to. But yeah, I think he played about 55 minutes.
Yeah,
so,
okay. So it's promising.
got a few. But it's not like he's only missed 6 weeks or so, and it was a facial injury, so
Yeah,
he
it
would have been
wasn't
able
a fitness
to.
thing, yeah.
It's not like it was a knee injury or something where he wouldn't have been able to do cardio. So, yeah, I would like to see him start. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things I would like to see. But, can't always get what we want.
As Mick Jagger once said.
That's a tune. Yeah.
Great reference.
No, so we're going to take a look at the odds now. I've already gone over sort of the top line ones there, but I mean, I think you're certainly probably leading the exasperation on the panel pool, which is, quite an achievement given the state of the three of us. But is that talking you into you eyeing up that 450 or the plus 14.5?
Right, I'm making a stand right now, okay? And if I change, this is for the rest of the year, okay? Yep. I'm making a stand. If I come back on a future podcast and I change my stand, please stop me and put me back on the stand that I'm about to say right now.
Well, I'm not sure if we are recording this, so we'll be able to
go back and say, yes, I'm betting against the All Blacks for the rest of the year. If they're favourites, I'm taking the other team plus the points. If they're underdogs, I'm taking the other team minus the points. I'm taking Argentina plus 14.5 this week.
Yeah. I know a few smart punters have been doing similar sort of things with Manchester United and Barcelona the last few years, where you just lay the brand every week and over the course of 38 games or whatever it is in football season, you're going to come out. I mean, you're already up a few units if you've been betting against the All Blacks head-to-head every game this year, but yeah.
You'd be up a few units if you've been
unless there's a significant change, I'm betting against the All Blacks for the rest of the year.
What sort of significant change?
Argentina plus 14.5. That's where I'm going. That's my best bet for this test.
Yeah. What's your best bet on the card, Richard?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm gonna go. I think I'm predicting a bounce back. I'll go the minus 14.5. Wow. They've played 4 times at Waikato Stadium, and their average winning margin in those 4 games has been 34 points.
Who they played there?
They played Argentina. The All Blacks in Argentina played 4 times, and the winning margin's been 34 points. So
I beat Ireland 62-0 at Waikato Stadium about 10 years ago as well.
Yeah, it was 57-22, 41-7, 62-10. So I'm gonna, I think they'll bounce back. I just
you're gonna take the minus 33.5.
Well, maybe in a value bet, maybe not my best bet, okay. But no, I'll take. I think they'll. I hope they will. Yeah, that should be.
Well, if that's not convincing betting advice, I don't know what you guys are tuning in for.
Well, we'll see. They'll have one good game and then one bad game. So they've had their bad game,
like the second and third test against Ireland.
Oh, that's true. They had 2 bad games in a row, and then a bad game against the Springboks. But then they had a good game against the Springboks.
I'm on the plus. If anyone hadn't sort of puzzled that one out yet already, getting the 14.5 is just delicious.
You were both on the minus last week.
Yeah,
I was on the plus last.
I was on the All Blacks total points over.
Oh, that's
Which for a reason. I think it's supposed to be a little bit
dusty.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful night in Christchurch. So there was no excuses last week.
The 85 kg lads will have sort of rucked up the park a bit already in the main event, so it won't be quite so hard and fast.
It's a Carisbrook Bush Pigs.
No, Southern Bush Pigs.
Oh, Southern Bush Pigs
versus
against the varsity
debt collectors.
Debt collectors.
No odds available for that game, unfortunately, but it'll be a great spectacle. Make sure you tune in.
That's the 85 final, the curtain raiser to the Argentina All Black test. Yes. Nice. That'll be a great game.
Will it? Yeah, some great running footy. Yeah, the Bush Pigs, boy, they've got all sorts of talent in that back line. So tune in for that one.
I guess if you don't know what 85 is, the 85 grade.
If you're watching from South Africa,
why don't you explain? Because you're a part of the Eastbourne goals.
We've really derailed the conversation here from our All Blacks preview, but yes, I also play in a less successful 85 kg team.
So you have to be 85 kgs or under to play in this league. Right.
Teach for that.
Just in case.
Under 85 years old.
I have been asked that before. Anyway, back bring the ship back on track after that brief sojourn to the 85 kg grade. How about a bit of value for the punters pool? Have you spotted anything that might be worth jumping on? Is it in the match result market?
No. You know how I said I'm betting against the All Blacks?
Yeah.
I'm taking the All Blacks 1-5 at 8.50.
Yeah.
That'll be my last little sojourn into All Black territory.
I'm going to go both teams to score a try, no, at $6. We talked about the All Blacks defence last week. It was impressive, and they only let that one try in. $6 for that. It's not bad. And there's been a number of tests recently where Argentina have not scored against the All Blacks. Some particular, was it 39-0 last year? So
yeah, and it took the All Blacks 79 minutes to score a try against South Africa.
It does, yeah.
A few weeks ago. So either way.
I'm taking in the exact halftime, full-time double market. I'm taking Argentina at halftime and New Zealand at full-time. $6 you're getting for that. I think could see that, fairly scratchy start from the All Blacks. They might come out fired up, they might not, who would know, but at the price I'm willing to chance it, but they do, some good players coming off the bench there. Bowden Barrett, hopefully he'll get more than 90 seconds to come on and make a difference there. Brodie Retallick, very good at rugby. We know I'm a big fan of Dane Coles. He can go on and make some things happen. Dalton Papali'i, Quincy Pye should be starting in 12, but he's in the 23 jersey, so give him a bit of, I think the All Blacks maybe come over the top of them. Pumas can't hold them this week, so have a go at $6 for that.
Not bad, not bad.
And then, of course, to wrap up our betting segment for this first game of the round, I believe same game claim is in play, as always, for 3 or more league same game multis.
Yes, for this and the Australia-South Africa test as well.
So we're going to keep swinging until we hit one. Pick and go same game multi for the All Blacks versus Pumas game. Richard, I'll let you lead off first since you weren't here last week.
I think the total points line's 52.5. I'll just go a little bit above that and go under 55.5, I think.
That seems high.
I think that I don't think that Argentina's going to score a lot of points, so maybe they'll get a few penalties. I think, I quite like that. So I'll give myself an extra few points there, but under 55.5, yeah.
Under 55.5 into Paul Moati.
Argentina plus 6.5 at $3.
Wow, we're going to get a nice little price for this because, spirit of pick and go. He did it last week. Semisone Taukei'aho get across the line was about the one thing that worked well for the All Blacks is the rolling maul. So hopefully they can go back to that a bit more. Maybe Semisone will get a bit more time out on the park as well. Home game as well. There's a proud Waikato.
True.
Waikato transplant at least. So I'm backing Semisone to get across the line. You probably get around the 2-1 mark for that, or $2 mark for that.
2-1, I'm not so sure.
Well, we're decimal based.
Indeed.
Yeah. So Semisone into Argentina plus 6.5, under 55.5. Should get a nice little price for that. We'll wrap that up and get up on socials once the
Argentina plus 6.5. Yeah. Once the same game multi's up, we'll have a price. Well, it's not there at the moment.
Well, anything else you guys want to mention before we head across the ditch?
First time the All Blacks have lost 3 consecutive test matches in New Zealand.
Yeah, there's like 3 stats every week at the stage.
Isn't it also the first time that the All Blacks have named the same starting lineup 3 times in a row?
Since 1997. Shout out to the excellent rugby database on Twitter. The last time the All Blacks named the same starting lineup 3 weeks in a row, Ethan de Groot, Will Jordan, Semisone Taukei'aho, and Caleb Clark all weren't born. But in contrast, the All Blacks didn't lose a single game in 1997. So
what a year.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Yeah. Well, hopefully this is our 98. Not the 99 went so well either, but
Who was that test match? Who was that World Cup?
Twickenham.
Mm.